Well, hello, and welcome back to that thing we like to call Curlist Mania, where we talk all things pop, rock, and prog. And man, look who's back in the captain's seat, Mr. Anthony Ferraro. So happy to have you back, man. How are you?
Good, Tom. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great, man. I'm better now because we're talking music, and it's always a blast. It's fun to have you on talking music because we go on so many fun tangents and we just let the conversation go where it may. But the main topic at hand is Mr. Peter Gabriel, which um we are here to talk about Scratch, the second record from Mr. Peter Gabriel. One of my favorite artists of all time, has to be said. Um, and it's funny, even I got my wife into Peter Gabriel because, well, of course, he's got, things like Sledgehammer and In Your Eyes, and so he's got some like mainstream hits that she kind of knows. So that starts that already she's kind of on board because of that. But then we went to go see a concert. We went to see his last tour. Um, and I think we drove to Columbus to go see it. And talk about long, we were just talking about going long just as distances as he shows. And for some reason we couldn't go in Detroit. We were like, I got some, but I was like, I'm not missing Peter Gabriel. We're going to go see him somewhere. So we ended up driving to Columbus, Ohio to go see him. And Michelle, my wife, loved the show. Like she was like, that was awesome. And I was like, wow, because I loved it too. And I was like, I'm so happy you were really into that. Like she just thought he was such a great. He's like he came through so strong, and she was like, he's such a great artist, you know. So it's cool that she even saw that. Like she was like, he's what a cool like artist he is. I was like, yeah, he is.
Well,
He's
that's like
got
that's like Mindy loves like Salisbury Hill and In Your Eyes, but she can't stand any of the Genesis stuff.
yeah.
So that's just too weird.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm with you. She would never like in Lamb Lies Down. That would be,
No, not at all.
she wouldn't like any of the. I mean, I don't want to say if she'd like any of the Genesis stuff. She likes like again, Invisible Touch. She'll be into that. She likes that,
Yeah,
or she'll like That's All, or whatever.
face value.
Yeah, Face Value. Maybe should be some solo Phil stuff she likes.
Yeah.
All the mains, way more mainstream types Genesis Phil Collins stuff. She's
Like
into.
she loves Salisbury Hill, but she wouldn't like Moribond.
No, no,
And
no.
I'm the opposite. I think Maury Bonds, that's probably my favorite. If I had to pick a top five Gabriel tunes, that'd be my number one.
That is up
That's as
there.
closest to Genesis I think he ever got,
Yes,
even
exactly.
by the title.
Yes, no, totally. That sounds like a Genesis track, like it could be.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. And more of it, I mean, that to me though is so Peter Gabriel. That song is like so him. Like, who else would do that song? Nobody. Like, no,
Nobody
like that whole thing of like I remember when I first heard it, and he's doing the "I will fight."
will
You're like,
find. Yeah.
what is
Do, do,
happening? What is this?
do.
Yeah. And you're like, what is this? Is the weirdest song
I
ever, but
will find out.
it's so great. What is it? Mother, you know your son. If I say I will, I will. I just love that. Um, so yeah, so actually what's interesting is that you picked this record. You were like, hey, how about Peter Gabriel too? And it was just kind of like out of the blue. And I was like, all right, sure, of course. Like anything Peter Gabriel, I'll do it. But it's interesting because two is probably I always put the first four in a category, the first four records. Like number one, was it what is it? Car, Scratch, Melt, and Security.
Security.
But that's something it's called Security in America, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, um, but it was basically Peter Gabriel 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all it really was. And people just identified it by the cover. But I would say that number two is might be my least favorite of the four of the first four. So it's interesting that you picked this one because it's like kind of a outlier in some fans' minds. But I'm giving the game away already, but I'm just saying I do like I think there's some great highlights on this album. I'm just saying of the albums, of the full records, I think two might be the I don't know. I listen to this and I always want to like it more, but I always kind of listen to it and go, yeah, it's okay. But I'll talk about why. But what enough of me, enough of my talking. Let's get to you. What do you think of this record? What's your overall impression of Peter Gabriel
It,
2?
it's always been kind of like my favorite, only because I figured it'd be a good album to talk about because we don't, nobody ever talks about two. It's
Yeah.
always about the
Yes.
first and and Melt and Security. Uh, but it's another Fripp production, or it's actually Fripp's first production. It's very dark. Um, it opens up with On the Air, which could have fit into, I think could have fit in well on The Lamb, and I think Back in New York City from The Lamb would have fit in well with this. The
Yes.
vocal
Yes.
mix is a little odd. I've heard people say that, and I can understand that. But it's definitely its own beast. It's definitely different from anything he ever did before or after.
That's
But On
true.
the Air,
That's
I think
true.
is a kind of a killer opener. It's got that great guitar, that Fripp guitar tone, and that kind of that menacing vocal from Peter, as in like Back in New York City kind of does. That's why I always felt that they could either they're interchangeable with this record or The Lamb a little bit. But I can understand where the vocal mix is a little bit off. But as again, I think it's its own beast. Fripp was going for a certain type of sound. It's very dark. The cover is very dark, like in New York City when it's raining.
Yeah.
Like there it is.
Yeah. It
The
looks.
perfect shot. It's very dark and the weather, it's rainy and it's
Looks like it's freezing cold, you
freezing
know?
cold, like probably
Yeah.
like maybe like January sometime. It looks like it just had snowed. So
Yeah.
Fripp did, I think, a pretty good job of kind of uh bringing out the atmosphere of the record and kind of like with his photography. Actually, that's Tony Levin's photography, I think.
Oh, is it? Is it?
Yes, yeah, and
Okay.
he's the master photographer. But as I said, I think On the Air is a perfect opening track. It's very dark and menacing. And then we go into DIY, which is a kind of it kind of interludes with DIY very nicely. Kind of like you go from the menacing, kind of like the opener of On the Air, to kind of like a slower type of more of more like a groove of DIY. I think the first two tracks kind of like intertwine pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, those.
Tom's like, yeah, it's okay. It's not the greatest, but
No,
it's
no, I think
okay.
those first 2 tracks are my favorite. I love those first
Oh,
2.
really?
Oh, yeah, the first 2 I think are awesome. Yeah. No, I totally agree, and I think the first 2 are, like, the most hard-hitting. Possibly, like, I mean, just most in your face of on the record.
Well,
And
and when I went
yeah.
back and listened to this, because I hadn't listened to this in a while, basically I was surprised at how much Larry Fast is all over this record. I mean, he is all over this record. I mean, he's
Yes.
fantastic player. His keyboard patches are just that I think that fit the music perfectly. But I didn't realize he is all over this record, not just on certain tunes, all over it.
Yeah. No, you're right, and it was funny that both of us had that revelation when we did homework for this. It's like, "Oh, yeah, Larry Fast, man." He's like, "There's synthesizer all over this album." You're not kidding. It's, like, everywhere.
And
Um,
he's got the backing band of Levin on bass and Jerry on the drums and Fripp, behind the curtain somewhere playing the guitar
right,
because
right.
he didn't want to be seen or known or anything.
What okay, okay. So, yeah, and he went under Dusty Rhodes, right? Didn't he use the stage name Dusty Rhodes or whatever? Because he didn't want people to know that he was part, which is kinda odd, like, he was sort of like pulling away from the project a little bit, and then apparently he was supposed to be producing, and then I guess at the end, he wanted to say his credit he wanted to say something about produced by Robert Fripp for Peter Gabriel or something. He was wanted to do something a little weird because he wasn't exactly psyched about the way it turned out or something, and he wanted to go into he and Fripp, like, kinda butted heads a little bit during the making.
Yeah, Fripp's an odd guy, you know that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he was in
Yeah.
that mode of that time period because he had just disbanded Crimson a couple years ago, was not happy with the record industry, not happy the way things went. So, you never know what you're going to get with Fripp. He'd be in one
Yeah.
good mood one day and the next, he'd just totally jump and form a different opinion on things.
Yeah, that's no, you're really that's very true, and Peter Gabriel, let it be said, is very quietly determined, like, he seems like a quiet dude, but he is very, like, focused and very determined, like, when he wants to do something, he gets that someone said that in one of the quotes in one of the books I read, it said something like, "He always gets his way," like, he does it in this English manner in a very quiet way, but he gets his way, he's very stubborn, he, like, once he's got his teeth into something, he doesn't wanna, like so I could see those 2 kind of butting heads a little bit.
And that's why we had the lamb.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's perfect example. Like the
Like
Lamb.
he had the story and
Yes.
he was going to go with it, and he didn't give two shits what Tony Banks had to say.
No, it's very true. He pushed that project hard. Like he made sure that that happened. And he was, what's funny about Peter Gabriel, I always forget this. He's kind of like the hard rocker of the group. Like he wanted to like he was, what did he say? He wanted to do the Lamb because he wanted to do something that was less flowery and like how Genesis can get very like fey and very flowery and very like I don't know, like very pretty, very beautiful, which I love. But he was like getting tired of that. He was like, I'm sick of that. Like, let's do something that's more rocking in your face. And that's why the Lamb happened, right? Because he was like, let's do something that's a New York City punk. Like, come on, so
But he still loved the costumes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I did too. And I still love the beautiful bits. Like I love it all. I love when they're together and they do all of it.
Well,
Um
they
so
produced four albums together that were pretty top notch.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
the way it ended on like a double album is just insane. But
yeah.
you know,
But what is it? Tony Banks. Right? Tony, you gotta talk about Tony, right? So Tony, when he talks about the Lamb, we're on a tangent, of course we are. But when he talks about the Lamb, he always says like something about there's some beautiful music on there. He's like, but then we're talking about snakes. Like, what did he say? What's the one song? The Lamia. And
yes,
he's like, the Lamia is a beautiful piece of music. And then Peter puts this weird lyric on it about snakes and women turning into snakes. And he's like, we can't play that by itself, like live. It makes no sense. It's just funny. He just always he can't help himself. Like Tony, even when
I
it's a
know.
classic.
He
So
wanted to get his way, and this was a time he didn't get his way.
yes, exactly. That's exactly right.
But when
So
you listen
anyway,
to it as a piece, it still sounds like a Genesis record.
yeah, it
I mean,
does.
Fly in the Windshield, like that was typical, still typical Genesis with the themes and the just the beautiful Hackett guitar that fit in perfectly. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a different record, but it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, okay. I got to keep going. One more thing. So there's like a recent interview with the three of them. It was Hackett. I don't know if you saw this. It's online. Hackett, Rutherford, and Banks, which is like weird. The three of them together, and it's a recent interview.
Yeah,
And
Gabriel was there too, I think.
oh, like, yeah, I think so. I don't know.
Yeah,
There was
Phil
one.
wasn't there. Phil's, he's got health problems.
Phil's got it. Yeah, he does. He's
But it was
not.
nice to see those four talking about it, and it was almost like they were complimenting each other for once, which
Yes, it was
was
like really.
not typical. I mean,
Yes,
if
like
you look at interviews from the 80s, Rutherford said some things about Hackett that were kind of lame, in my opinion, but that's
yeah.
neither here nor there.
No, you're right. They were being very, very nice to each other, very, very nice and very cool to each other, which was kind of fun to see. And then, because like Hackett was talking about how Banks was doing all this really cool stuff and really fun stuff and cool
Oh
things.
yeah, Hackett. Oh, he's always complimentary.
Yeah. And so anyway, you could tell Banks was like, "Oh, thank you." Like, and anyway, the one thing that they all got really excited about was Fly on a Windshield. Like all of them were like, "That Fly on a Windshield track is so awesome." Like they
Oh,
all,
it's perfect. It's
yeah,
definitely, even though it was the Lamb was kind of a different beast of its own. Fly would have fit on any of those earlier Genesis records because it
yeah,
had that signature sound, the signature atmosphere about it. It was a typical your typical Genesis tune, I
yeah,
thought.
yeah. No, I agree. I agree. It's
And he's
fantastic.
playing that on this tour, so I'm pretty excited to see him play it on Saturday.
Yeah, yeah, there's something about that when he's like, "I'm hovering like a fly," and all of a sudden, oh, the whole
Ooh,
band just comes
I
right.
mean
Oh,
Hackett was such a beast. I mean, he
yeah,
really
he
was.
was, he was, he really was. He adds so much to that track. Anyway,
Oh,
anyway, all right, let's get back to Peter Gabriel. It's 1978. Here we go. So we're we're going, we're going pulling this back. So here's another thing about this album, right? I think he felt. Did you hear this? I think he felt like the first album was a little overproduced. Is that fair to say?
I could see that. And what was weird about the first album, when he was doing the tour for the first album, like he had didn't have that much material. So instead of maybe doing some Genesis tune, like this album is where he kind of incorporated. He played the Lamb, but that was the only really Genesis tune that he was playing.
Yeah.
But on the first
Yeah.
album, he was playing like King covers. instead of
Oh,
playing
he
any
was?
Genesis tunes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he one of the King covers he played was Paranoia Destroyer, whatever that song's called. I think
Oh,
it's
yeah,
called Paranoia
Destroyer.
Destroyer.
Yeah.
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 I was
Yeah.
like, because I have a nice recording from the '77 tour, and that was one of the songs. I'm like, you're playing a Kings cover?
Yeah. Yeah. I think he was so eager to be like, I'm not part of Genesis anymore. Like
No, I know.
he was trying to separate himself from the band and he was trying to be an independent artist and he was also trying to be part of the times. Like
Yeah.
you kind of feel in these first two records he's trying to be more of like I'm of the time. I'm not in the past. I'm here now. This is what I'm doing now. And I think he felt like the first album was Bob Ezrin and it was like they always talked about Here Comes the Flood be like he always imagined Here Comes the Flood as like a very mellow piano solo thing, which he always does live. When he does it live, he does it by himself on the piano. But Ezrin was like, "Oh, this is a cool song," and he just went crazy with it and added like strings and horns and I don't know, like vocals and everything. Peter was like, "Whoa, it was like too much for him."
Well,
Uh,
then we got kind of like and then on the Exposure record we get the version that Peter kind of envisioned,
yes,
where you
yes.
just get the piano version, which is actually it's a beautiful tune.
It is beautiful. Oh my God, it's so good. And when he does it live by himself, it's like, oh my, it gives me it's like
Yeah,
goosebumps. Yeah,
it's really
it's
good.
so good. And that to me, that's the pure artistry of Peter Gabriel. Like when he could just get there, like he gets on a piano and does "Here Comes the Flood" by himself, and you're getting goosebumps. It's like that. That's just pure artistry right there. So anyway, we're back to the second record. So the first two songs are like boom, boom on the air at DIY, and then "Mother of Violence" kind of brings it down. But it's
Yeah, it's very kind of depressing. I mean, it's
kind of a cool
very
track, but it brings
somber,
it down. Yeah, yeah.
but it's a beautiful tune. And then one of my favorites of the album, "A Wonderful Day in a One-Way World." I just love that chorus.
Right, right. Yep, yep.
I mean,
That
it
yeah,
just kind of brings it in, and that chorus comes in, and what a wonderful day, one way in a one-way world. Oh, it's just
right.
perfect. It's one of those long title tunes, but man, that chorus just kicks. It's
Yeah,
so
it's sort of
catchy,
catchy. It's catchy.
very catchy. I'm always humming it.
Yeah. Yep, yep. So that one's okay for me, but then White Shadow ends
White
the
Shadow,
uh,
top five Peter Gabriel tune, gorgeous, fantastic. It's my favorite song on the record. It's so
yeah.
good. I
I
mean, Larry
yeah.
Fast in the beginning. It's just his chorus. It's one of those goosebump tunes by him. It's just one of my top favorite tunes. I love it. Fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. White Shadow's a great track. It's got multiple sections. It's got I mean, you can tell like he worked hard on that song.
Yeah.
And I think it develops really nicely. Like you said, I love all the band members are contributing to the song. Yeah, White Shadow is freaking awesome. I agree. It's a great way to end side one. And it's kind of a grower. Like you don't realize how much you like it until you listen to it a few times. You go, oh, this is like I love this track. Like
Well,
it's
it's
so
definitely the
good.
track. Like it doesn't. I think sometimes it doesn't fit on the album because it doesn't have that darkness to it. It's almost like it could have fit on the first album. It has that typical Peter Gabriel type tune where it opens like soft and then kind of builds a little bit and then you have that beautiful chorus. It's just a perfect Gabriel tune for me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm in total agreement. I think White Shadow's a killer Peter Gabriel song, and it's kind of unknown. Like a lot of people don't know it, and it's like if you're a fan, you know it, but if you know the typical fan is like, what's White Shadow? It's like, dude, you got to track down that song and listen to it. And then side two starts with Indigo, which is actually another cool track. I like Indigo. What do
Yeah,
you think?
Indigo's another kind of Indigo. I think would have fit kind of. Indigo was kind of like the side two of Indigo and a couple other songs. Kind of give you a precursor of what Melt might have been like a little bit. It's a little
Yes. Yeah.
darker, a little groovier. The vocals a little deeper, but it definitely has that kind of. It could have fit on Melt, I think, perfectly.
No, that's a really great thought. I never thought about that, but you're right there. And he always has little hints on every record about where he's going next. There's like
Yes,
little bit, little
and I don't think he even knows. I think it's just like, oh, I'm gonna go this way.
because there's stuff on Melt that kind of goes, oh, I kind of sounds a little bit like Security's coming. Like there's a little
Yes,
bit of, like there's
yeah,
that
like I
one.
don't remember would fit perfectly on Security.
What is it? I don't
I think
remember.
I don't remember what
Yeah,
fits perfectly on
yeah.
Security.
And then there's that one track on 3 that's like do 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 do. What is it? Lead a Normal Life.
Yes.
It's just like that little like percussion thing the whole time, and you're like, it's interesting. Anyway,
Here comes
uh,
the world music of Peter Gabriel in the 80s.
yes, here it comes. Exactly, exactly. So yeah, so Animal Magic to me is kind of like, it's like he's trying hard to like bring some energy back
Oh,
into
I
the
think Animal Magic's great. I love Fripp's guitar work. I love his tone on that song. That's another kicking tune.
yeah. See, I think Animal Magic is okay. It's all right. Exposure though is really cool. Now, when you talk about Fripp, now here's Fripp
Yeah, and Levin.
and Levin exactly. And this almost sounds like it could be a King Crimson track.
Oh, big time. And well, of course, he put it on his, he put it on his Exposure album.
Right. Yes. So he's using his Frippertronics, right? And he's doing the whole deal, and you can really hear because at some points you go, is Fripp on this record? Like like some of the guitar seems kind of buried, and you're like, where is Fripp? Like he's producing, and he must be playing guitar on this album, right? But then when you hear Exposure, like, oh, there he is, like here
Yes.
he comes. And so and I love the whole when Peter's doing the exposure. It's like
Yes.
it's kind of a weird, haunting track,
Yes.
you know?
No, and Levin sounds great on it too, but it's just it's just like one of those tunes that it just starts grooving right away.
Yeah, I
Because
really
you
like
don't need any vocals. You just need that haunting exposure. Boom,
yes.
boom, boom, and it's just perfect.
No, I agree. I think there's something really cool about that track. Like, and again, that's another like, who else would do this? Nobody. Like, it's like this is another Peter Gabriel like going out in the fringes and doing something like this with nobody no other artists won't do this. So except for Fripp. I mean, Fripp would, but he's kind of a fringe artist too. But yeah. So anyway, Exposure is really cool. Love it. Okay, Flotsam and Jetsam. This is the last 3 tracks for me are kind of like this is where it kind of falls off a little bit.
Yeah, they're kind of interesting. I was thinking about perspective, and perspective to me sounds like a tune. It was that of the time period, but it sounds like a tune that would have fit perfectly like on an Elvis Costello record. It's got that Elvis Costello type vibe to it. And I could like when I hear that song, I could have said, "Hey, that sounds like Elvis Costello," but it's Peter Gabriel. But it's very Elvis Costello-esque because that's what kind
Yes.
of he was doing in the late 70s, kind of like poppy, punky kind of tune. And Perspective was one of those ones I was thinking, boy, Elvis Costello, I could see doing something like this.
Yeah, yeah, and doesn't Perspective have, like, a Waylon sax on it? Like, it has
Yes.
saxophone? Yeah, which is like, I'm not a huge
But
fan.
it's the chorus. I need perspective. That sounds like something that sounds like at the time period that Elvis Costello would have put on like one of his first couple albums. It's got that poppy punky type vibe to it.
Sort of new wavy feel, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Um, no, I agree with you, and I think he was going for that. I think he was kind of like that's what he was sort of going for a little bit. Um, yeah, but Flotsam and Jetsam's okay, Perspective's pretty good. Home Sweet Home, I think is kind of a weird ending, weird way to end the record.
It's very like a somber. It's like I was thinking, I was like, I can see why he ended it that way. It's very like a somber, I'm home, home sweet home. But it's kind of like a somber way to end it. But I can see why he ended the track on the album. Kind of like yeah. Again, this album is like got peaks and valleys. It's dark. It's menacing. It gets a little soft. Then you go into Exposure, which is just a groove master, and then you kind of got the 3 ending tunes that are kind of like a little softer, and then Home Sweet Home is definitely, you could see why he ended it with Home Sweet Home.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So yeah, so I mean yeah, I'm really like you can tell I'm split on this record. Like I really like I love there's certain tracks that I really love. On the Air I love DIY. I love White Shadow and I love Exposure. So like there's like I mean that's like half the record I love. So like but the other half to me always feels a little bit I don't know if it's undercooked or like not produced well or like you said the vocals are kind of buried a little bit. Like Peter Gabriel's one of the best vocalists ever. Like why would you got to put his vocals like right out front. Um, but that being said, I you know a Peter Gabriel record that I don't love is still great comparatively to other artists. You know what I mean? Like I still think it's great. I still love the record. I still listen to it quite a bit.
I
Um,
mean, can you imagine being a Genesis fan in 1978? You have this record, you have And Then There Were Three, and then you have, oh, was Steve Hackett? maybe Steve Hackett was Please Don't Touch is 70. No, Please Don't Touch is
No,
78.
please don't touch a 78. Yeah.
Yeah. So
You got
basically, if you're a Genesis fan, I mean, you're in heaven. You got Peter Gabriel solo record. You got, and then there were three, and you got Please Don't Touch with, fantastic guests on there with Steve Walsh and
Steve
Richie
Walsh.
Havens. I
Yeah.
mean, just as a Genesis fan, you're like a little kid in a candy
You're in
store.
heaven. Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. And they all came out the same year. So it's like, oh my God, this is like awesome. I'm just gonna buy all of them. Yeah. No, and I those are three records. I mean, and then there were three. I love that record. I think that record's great. Like
Oh,
I think
even though that Hackett's not on there, Rutherford does a pretty good job of coming up with his own tone, and the tunes are just like, opening up with what's the first
uh,
track? Oh, Down and Out. Down
Down
and
and
Out's
Out.
just like
Yes.
not your typical Genesis song. I mean that's a banger from the start.
Phil's playing is out of his mind on that record. That down and out with I mean, it's like, oh my God, it's just like, yes, like they are just they're playing well. And Banks is like on his A game. And I don't know. I mean, yes, I miss Hackett. Of course I miss Hackett. But they do a really good job on that record of like, masking whatever, you know, I don't know. I think it's a great I love
And
some
it's pretty an apt title. I mean, and then there were three.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
And
mean,
of
you
course
can't tell me they were. I mean, with a title like that, you could tell where we're going to go from here. And then there were three because you got
yeah.
Peter leaving, then you got Steve leaving. Now it's the three of us
Down to a trio.
down to a
Um,
trio.
but yeah, but there's something about that album, and I know Lewis always talks about like like you said, Mike Rutherford is a bass player. He's not a guitar player. He's a bass player. He's a bass player playing guitar, which I get. He's right. He's absolutely right. But I don't know that album. The songwriting is still really top notch, and
Oh
some
yeah,
of
he's got some
you know
great tone. Like Many Too Many has a great tone. Deep in the Motherlode's my favorite off that record.
Deep in the
And
Motherlode.
live, it's a banger live.
Yeah, down and out, deep in the mother load. Many too many is like so beautiful. I mean, yeah, there's some. I mean, Snowbound, I could take or leave, but like, what's it? The single got kind of played out. Follow you,
Oh,
follow me.
Follow Me, Follow You,
You
or Follow
know,
You, Follow Me.
I like it, but it's got kind of you heard it so much that you're like, okay. Um, but anyway, we're off on another tangent. But yes, '78 was a good year for Genesis fans, no question about it. And this album, like I said, it's still really strong. I still really like it. I obviously bought the reissue, and it sounds the reissue sounds great.
Now, what issue's that?
I don't know what year this was, but it's like it's like the half speed remaster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, I had to get all of the like the reissues that he did. And it's it's on it's on it it shows as it on the Charisma label, which is cool. Um, but I have to say that this album, it didn't make a huge impact because I think that the record company wasn't that psyched about it. Do you remember this? I
Yeah,
get
and you know what seems like of the four, it seems like probably this probably sold the least and was probably promoted the least.
yes, yes. And really, I mean, to me, I don't get it because DIY, I think both DIY and On the Air could have been singles that they could have done well. In my opinion. I think both of those are
And White Shadow should have gotten some FM airplay, in
yes,
my opinion, like a
yes,
deep cut air for FM airplay, because it's got
totally.
that vibe to it.
No, absolutely, you're right. That easily could have been like a deep track FM song for sure. But yeah, so
But
it's
there's no
interesting.
Salisbury Hills on it. That's the problem.
Right, right. And that's what they were looking for. They wanted another Salisbury Hill, and it wasn't there. And I think that's what the problem was. They were like, "Oh, this we can't promote this record. It doesn't have a hit. It doesn't have a single." Um, but I and then what happened was, this third record, he does the third album. We're getting off topic again, but the third record, he does it, and they heard the first time Atlantic or something, one of the labels, Atlantic or didn't like it, and then they dropped it. Like they said, we're gonna pass on this record, and it got picked up by Mercury, and he put it out. I'm getting ahead of myself here, but they put it kind of goes along with the fact that they weren't promoting this one very well, and then the third one, he gave them the third album. They went, "Oh, we don't like this one either. We're gonna pass." And it's like, what? And then that album, of course, as we know, with Mercury, went on to sell a lot of records because of Games Without Frontiers was kind of a big song, and so was what was the other song
And
on
then
there?
and then Biko became a big time live staple.
Yeah, yeah, right. But Games Without Frontiers, I remember hearing that a lot on FM radio.
Now,
Uh,
see, my introduction to Gable is odd because I remember I didn't hear anything to him, and then I was like 13 or 14 watching MTV, and Shock the Monkey comes on, and here's this guy dressed up in not your typical rock star. He's wearing a suit and tie. I'm like, who is this guy? And that was like my first exposure to Peter Gabriel. Cool song, but I was like, I wasn't used to seeing. And it was, of course, of the times where like you had people like Spandau Ballet. They were wearing like the smaller ties with the light white and a suit jacket. That was kind of like the new wavy, the kind of they were the so-called costumes. And then hair metal comes in and everybody's wearing makeup and outlandish clothes and whatnot. But for
yeah,
that time period, you had certain new wave artists, especially most from the UK, were kind of wearing like they were dressing up, going to like a work or something.
right, right. Like like what date, what year did Out of the Cellar come out by Rat?
84.
84.
Well, Motley Crue well, Quiet Riot started that whole kind of the costume
Yeah,
thing, and Motley Crue and the makeup, and then once
right.
Rat hit, it was all it was
Yeah.
opening up Pandora's box, and then Kiss followed suit.
Yeah, Kiss did the same thing exactly, right. So yeah, no, but you're right. I mean, in think about that. You just said it perfectly. Peter Gabriel stuck out like a sore thumb and all that, right? You're like, you watch it, you see Shock the Monkey, you're like, what? He is just out there, man. He's just doing his own thing, which is so cool. That's what I love about Peter Gabriel. He just does his thing.
Now, have you seen any? There's a performance that he did from the '78 tour where they're all dressed up as if they were working like for PennDOT, where they have like the orange vest on. Yeah, they're like wearing these white clothes and they have this orange vest on. Like it's like they're working for like city workers tonight, so people can see them. And that was like that's how the band was. But there's a
Yeah.
live performance. I forget where it's from, but they're all dressed like that. But oh, the songs are great live.
Oh, they are. Yeah, it's and these songs came alive live on the live stage
And
as
he played
well.
quite a bit off the album live.
Yeah, I really think live you kind of got the energy more, and there's something, and you're right. I've seen that. I think I think it's a German rock palast or whatever.
Yes, yes, Rock Palace,
Yeah,
yes.
and and like you said, they've got the reflective vests on, and they're all bouncing together, and it's like, and he's running up a ladder, and
And it's one of the very few times Tony Levins doesn't have his mustache.
yes, yes, and you're like, who is the bass player? I can't tell. You can't tell it's
Yeah.
Levin. He doesn't have that signature look mustache.
No.
Um, but man, it's really, like you said, that's a really good live clip. If you can find it online, check it out. It's really really cool. It's early Peter Gabriel solo, and it's awesome. And Peter's got so much energy, like he's running all over the stage, and and he was also one of the first guys to like he took one of those early remote microphones. He would go into the audience. He would go like outside the venue and come back out in the front door with the singing a song. They'd be like, "Oh my God, he's behind us!" Like, "Oh my God!" Everyone was freaking out, because he was just do stuff like that. Um, but yeah, Peter's the best, man. I love Peter Gabriel to death, and this
This
yeah,
album, I mean, I figured we would discuss this album because it's not discussed a lot. And of
yeah,
course, of the four, not very many people talk about it. To me, it's my favorite. I think the songs that are great are fantastic, and then the other songs, I think I kind of fit in the record well. I can see where you'd be kind of like lost. Like the last three tracks, they're different, but I think they end the album well. I really do. And White Shadow is another top five Gabriel tune for me. Just
yeah.
absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. No, I love it, man. That's great. And this album, I'm not saying it's a bad, believe me, it's not a bad album. It's a very good record, actually. I mean, like I said, Peter Gabriel's level of quality is always high, no matter what. And like you said, I really think that songs like we just talked about, the rocking, the ones that I like, the DIY and on the air, live, they were even better. So yeah, I really think that this album, like you said, it's kind of a dark horse record. Like, not a lot of people talk about it. It doesn't come up in conversation a lot. It didn't get promoted by the label at the time. And it deserved better. It deserved way better. Imagine if the label had got behind this record, it might be looked at differently.
I
You
mean,
know?
I could see them, I don't know if there's really I mean, there's not really a tune there you could say, hey, this could be a hit. I can understand that, but it's more like FM staples, like White
Yeah.
Shadow on the air could be an FM staple.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. So there you go, people. What do you think? What do you think of this record? We want to know, what's your take on Peter Gabriel too? Um,
I mean,
it's
do you like it as much as I do? Do you like it like Tom does? Do you think White Shadow's fantastic? Is White Shadow a top five tune? Let us know.
Yeah, yeah. Let us know where it ranks in your Peter Gabriel rankings. Like, that's always what I like to know. Like, what do you think of it when in the entire catalog? I mean, of course, Peter Gabriel has a whole nother like I always put his career in that first kind of first four, and then after that, like So and Beyond, like it's kind of like a different chapter. You know what I mean? Kinda. I don't know. Like when I heard So, I was like, okay, wow, Sledgehammer, like well, he's really going like he's going for it now. Like I think he was watching Phil just have so much success, and he was like, all right, I want a little bit of that.
I can do this.
I want a little bit of that mainstream money. And Sledgehammer, he loved people like Sam Cooke and Otis Redding, and he loved soul, so he was kind of going for this own version of like soul, um, with things like Steam and Sledgehammer. And what do you think about those songs? What do you think about like Us and So and
Well, Us is definitely a lot different than So, because So he like had the big pop record, but then that was kind of it. Then he kind of
yeah,
went back with his
yeah,
darker stuff, and Us is very dark. Like Digging in the Dirt is like a typical Peter Gabriel. That could have fit on like one of the first two records. It's that dark, you
that's
know.
true. That's
And
true.
Steam very reminds me of Big Time a little bit. That was maybe as close as he ever got to there, but it's definitely a darker record for him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. I always forgot digging in the dirt is all about therapy and trying to find the dark side of yourself and and all that. You're right. It's kind of a dark record because he got divorced, right? Wasn't that his divorce album?
Yes.
So yeah. But
And I
anyway,
was in college during that. I mean, that tells you how much time goes by. Like when I was in college when Digging in the Dirt hit. I mean, you just that the power of music. You know where you were when you heard that song.
yes. No, I was the same. Same thing for me. And I remember hearing it and being like, "Oh, that's a cool song. Like that's a cool track. Like I really like it because it's kind of got that it's just like really
And the
kind of
video didn't help much.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, and I that whole like this time you've gone too far. I told you, just drive the car. I'm like, what is happening in this? He's starting to yell. He's yelling at somebody. Like, what's going on? This is kind of an interesting track. Because I was like, just what is it? Don't talk back. Just drive the car. All that stuff. Anyway, um, yeah. So that's a cool record. But anyway, we're off on another tangent. So we I'm gonna bring it back in and say, okay, Peter Gabriel 2, again, what do you guys think? Let us know. It's definitely high on Anthony's list. It's for me, it's a little bit lower, but I still love it. Um, we want to know what you guys think. Um, so any closing thoughts tonight, Anthony, for you?
Well, it's just another great record that we've been talking about. I think we're talking about some records that people do love, and then like something like this is kind of it's not obscure, but people don't talk about it, and that's why we're here. We're talking about the albums we love, the albums that people don't talk about. I mean, how many people before that were talking about hopefully after we did our the Geese and the Ghost show, people were talking about it and listening to it and thought had the same feelings we did.
Yeah, yeah. Our theme so far seems to be this sort of like at records that are kind of like just under the radar, like just under, like
And as Grant would say, hey,
know.
we're looking for people to explore new music, stuff that they may have never heard and discovered before. Check it out.
Oh yeah, it's definitely worth discovering this album. I mean, and all of the albums we've done, Geese and the Ghost, the David Gilmour solo record, this one, they're all definitely worth finding. Like you might be like, wow, this is like an album I never heard and I love it now. Like that's our goal. That's our mission, right? Um,
Correct.
yeah. So thanks, Anthony. Thanks again for joining me tonight,
Hey,
man.
thanks for having me, Tom. It's always a good discussion, and we're talking about an album that you know uh, not a lot of people talk about it. I mean, they really don't. It's
Yeah.
one of those albums like they talk about the first four, but they're really talking about the first three. They don't talk about
Yeah.
this record that much. They really don't.
Two gets skipped over. Yeah.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, he did that second album in '78. Now let's on the third one.
But then you kind of get, even with the skipping of that one and the recent reissues of Exposure, it kind of makes people go back to those first Gabriel, because that was kind of like the time period, like Exposure's on that. Here Comes the Flood. And if you listen to Exposure, it kind of gives you a precursor of what Discipline was going to become, because there's some stuff on there that's very Discipline-esque sounding. That's what he
Yeah,
was going with his
absolutely.
guitar sound.
Yeah,
Like
Exposure.
the two Daryl Hall tunes and the Peter Hamill, you could see where he was going in the '80s with that.
Yeah, isn't Exposure on it's on Daryl Hall's solo record, it's on
Correct.
Fripp's solo
Sacred
record, and
Songs,
it's on
yes.
Peter Gabriel too, yes.
Yes.
Yes. So it's interesting that Exposure's on those 3 records. Anyway, but that's the topic for another day. So thanks again, Anthony, and we appreciate if you've stayed this long, you must be a big Peter Gabriel fan. We appreciate you guys. Always hit the like and subscribe. It helps the channel. We appreciate it. And for those of you who have subscribed, thank you. I appreciate you too. So thanks a lot, and I hope you're enjoying the journey with me. And anyway, that's about it. So we'll see you next time on Curless Mania. See ya.
Thanks, Tom, for having me.
Absolutely.